Critical Blast, where pop culture gets blasted.
And good evening, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at criticalblast.com. And tonight we have a double header. So if you got to get some popcorn, maybe a large drink, you're going to want to settle in. We're going to go for a 2-hour show tonight. Back-to-back guests. Up first in the world of crowdfunding comics, we are welcoming to the stream Noah Mactutus. Noah, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good.
So you've got a book out called Maverix Decimation.
Yeah.
Is this? You're the artist and the writer on this? Am I correct?
Yeah. And then my friend co-wrote it, but I'm the main writer.
Okay, so this is pretty much a 1.5-man operation then.
Yeah.
Yep. How long have you been into comics? I mean, when did you?
I'd say I got into them when I was around 9. That's when I started to try and draw them a little bit. But I really got into reading them when I was like 11 and stuff. And like then I'd actually read them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I got into it when I was 4.
Wow.
So I was reading in kindergarten and nobody knew it because I thought everybody could read.
Yeah.
So I get it. What do you know? What your remember what your first books were that you were picking up regularly?
Well, I didn't get to the store until like my first time going to comic shop was when I was 14. But my cousin had given me like these 3 Spider-Man books. They're like trade paperbacks, but they were a smaller size. They had maybe 5 different stories in it. I don't remember the name. But he also gave me the first issue to Batman Hush, Batman 608. So I'd say that was my first comic I read. And then after that, when I started getting into reading comics a whole lot, I was into the original stuff, like 1940s, 50s, 60s stuff. So I'd read that online. The first one I think I remember reading, it was the first issue of Captain America ever. And then I also remember finding Action Comics #1 online. So those were like my first, getting comics.
If you're going to study comics, getting back to the roots of it is a good place to start.
Yeah, I was a big fan of Jack Kirby for like a long time. I was into him before I was into the 80s and 90s and all that stuff.
Yeah. Very, very good influence to have, especially if you're going to start creating them, which you've now decided to start doing. This is your first crowdfunded book?
Yeah, it's my first crowdfunded, but I've done 10 other books that I've printed out here, which I did, and I sell them like online and stuff. One of them I actually got in the store. I had like 1, 2, 3, 4 somewhere here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. Because I started doing this in 2019, started to sell them and stuff. I make a sale here and there, and I knew like my art wasn't up to standard yet. It wasn't like, if you look at issue 1, there's like some crooked eyes and stuff like that. But I figured, since I'm practicing comics, I might as well like see if I can make a couple bucks at it while I'm practicing.
Absolutely.
So I did that. And then I put out a tweet early this year of a page that was going to be for issue 11. Because 10 was my first year anniversary, came out in April. I was ready to start issue 11, and I put out a page, and I was like, and I asked some questions, and then people were like, hey, you should do a crowdfunded book, do a graphic novel. So, and I had been wanting to try out Indiegogo for a while, and I figured, I'll try it, and then that's Maverix Decimation.
Okay, so let me make this clear for the people who are watching. You've done 10 issues of a book in a year on a regular schedule, full size, full script.
Yeah.
You're no longer learning this, Noah. You are teaching the class. You're ahead of so many professionals right now.
I mean, yeah, like my mom, she used to say like I was staying in my room too much and stuff like that, but I didn't really care about it. And for the most part, it came out monthly. There was like a couple times where I went to buy monthly because school. I had to get grades up. But then as soon as I could get them up, I go right back to monthly and try and put them out as best as I can. And I'd
So,
color them and stuff. And yeah.
so you're, I'm guessing, a freshman in high school, about 15?
Yeah. I'm in 10th grade. 10th
Okay,
grade.
so sophomore.
Yeah.
Are you looking at, once graduate, are you looking at something like the Kubert School of Comic
No,
Art?
nah. I'm gonna go to college and I'm gonna become, I think it's a mechanical engineer. It's either mechanical or electrical. Can't remember. But I'm gonna do that because you can get a bunch of different jobs in it. This way, then, I'm not gonna get, I'm not gonna be homeless. I'll be able to get a job if comics don't work out.
Well,
You
yeah,
know.
here's what you do. You put out a Maverix Decimation issue that goes out and rivals Cyberfrog, and then you don't have to worry about where you're going to work.
I know that's what I want to do so bad, but it's like, if that something happens to the industry, if I can't, if nobody wants to buy Mavericks, then I'm able to survive, and then when I'm 70 and if I need to get a job, I can get one somewhere and stuff.
Yeah, very, very good idea. I can point you to too many comics artists, and we're talking people you would know, who were just respected in the industry, put out these ginormous legendary works, who are now crowdfunding hospital bills and trying to keep their house from going bankrupt.
Yeah.
Too many sad stories over the last 10 years. That's why there's actually a charitable organization now to collect money for retired comic book writers and artists, because
Yeah,
they didn't have this kind of backup skill or a savings or anything.
Yeah, I just don't want to do that. So I'm gonna finish high school, put out my books, next summer. If Decimation doesn't meet a certain amount of money that my parents are giving me, they're like, if you get this much money, you can do comics next summer. If you don't, you gotta get a job. So I was like, yeah, okay. So next year, no, I'm still gonna be doing comics. I'm just gonna have to slow down the output and
You're
stuff.
going to get some real world experience there.
I know, it's gonna be torture. And then I'm gonna go to college, gonna keep on doing my Maverix stuff, keep on putting out books, and then when I get out of college, I'm gonna go ahead and probably give it one big hurrah. And if that doesn't work, I'll get a job and then do it on the side, still trying to build my audience.
Yeah, well, with every issue that you put out 10 of them. That's astonishing.
Yeah.
With everyone, you're going to get better in storytelling. You're going to get better in the penciling.
Yeah.
Heroenberg, hail Heroenberg in the chat. Glad you were able to come up there.
Yeah, like if you look at if you scroll down a bit and you go to the cover, here I can actually show you this. Like here's my artwork. One, like in 2019. That was the best cover I could put out. And now if you look at the Decimation one, it's way better. So like when I was starting to put out issue 1, I knew it wasn't super good, but I just figured, hey, I might be able to sell it to one person, and I'm going to be putting the book out anyway. And because and I listened to some interviews, and people like, oh, the best way to learn how to do comic books is to do sequential storytelling. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do storytelling. So I figured I'd put a book together, and then, here I am.
So this book here, this is a 80-page graphic novel. 76 of the pages are story.
Yep.
How many issues does this comprise? I'm assuming you're taking the first so many issues of what you've already done and putting into a book, or is this brand new?
This is brand new. And it's completely standalone, so nobody has to go and buy the other 10 issues. They can pick it up and they can get into Maverix. And it was kind of perfect timing because my skills had gone up to a good enough level where I could tackle a project like this. And, last summer I was practicing writing screenplays because I wanted to make my own animated movie of Maverix, which I was going to do. And then I gave up on it because I realized I'm not a movie guy. I'm into comics. So I had practiced telling longer stories, so it was perfect timing. And then I just went, You know, and I said to myself, in the past, when I wrote Mavericks, it was kind of messy. You know, you couldn't really say, okay, this is what his character is like. You know, I'd start a story and then create a plot point, and that plot point would never get an end to it. So I went, you know what? I'm not going to reboot, but I'm going to do a book where people can take it and then be, okay, this is Mavericks. And then I'll just, you know, continue telling the story from there. So it's
So
completely standalone.
you had a $500 flexible goal,
Hmm.
the meaning of which is that you're going to put the book out whether you make the goal or not. You did
Yeah.
make the goal.
Yeah.
You're at 160%. 11 days. Is that your first 30 days or is that your
Yeah.
last 30 days?
It's my first 30
Okay,
days.
good. Then there's still time to right the ship on this, Noah, because
Yeah.
here's what you've got to do. You've got those 10 issues there. You
Yeah.
need to have tiers on here where you get not only this graphic novel, but those very limited edition first print run floppies.
Oh,
Ones,
that's the thing I should explain. The printer that I found, it was like a print on demand. And
right?
basically they put it on their store. So I didn't do a print run. What I did, well, I did a print run of one copy. So it's not like I have 10 of each issue. So that's the one thing about that I should have mentioned.
Well, then have him print off whatever people order on here. Say, if
Yeah.
somebody says I want all 10 issues, then you say, here's what it's going to cost me to print these 10 off. Throw an extra $2 on there for shipping.
Yeah.
Throw an extra $5 for you, and have people give that option to say, okay, I've not only got the graphic novel, but I've got the first 10 issues that were done of
Okay.
the series.
Okay.
As an add-on or as a perk that's bundled together. I am certain that there are people who would be interested in having that kind of access to an original character from an
Okay.
up-and-coming artist who's.
Okay.
This is. I don't want to overstate this. So everybody understand. I know what it sounds like, but this is like having the opportunity to sit down with Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, and they're like, "Yeah, we're drawing this guy here in our upstairs bedroom here. We're going to do a graphic novel. These are the things we're working on. This is the opportunity to get the things they were working on."
Well, thanks. I was thinking about doing something like that, but I wasn't sure if it'd be a smart idea because I didn't really want people to see the 10 issues and then be like, "Oh, this is how good he is," and then not read the novel or something. But
well, that's why you make them. First of all, that's why you make them as add-ons to the novel. They always get the novel
okay.
for the books. Second of all, you call them ash cans. That way, nobody expects them to be fully produced. They're meant to be. Hey, these were the textbook things that we did.
Yeah. Okay. I'll talk to my dad about putting that option up there.
Yeah, and then don't print them in advance. Just print them on demand.
Yeah.
If you get 10
Right.
people on them, you print 10 copies.
Yeah, and it should be easy enough because I'm using the same printer.
Yeah,
So,
you got print files already. He doesn't have to set it up again.
yeah.
So
Thank you.
this is your cover for Maverix Decimation, and there's only 3 tiers on this, by the way, folks.
Yep.
4 tiers. 4 tiers. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 4 years.
All 3 of them, the first 3 are the book, which is variations on the cover. You've got the full color one. You've got the iced over version, which is the pale blue. And then you've got the magma cover, which it's got much warmer tones to it. All the same interior, I'm guessing.
Yes.
And then you can get all 3 versions for $54, which is a $6 savings, of which 6 have been claimed. So that's where the money's going.
Yeah.
Nope, I take it back. 10 of the main cover have been picked. So
Yeah. Yeah.
fair.
Yep.
So you have a video here, and before I ask you a whole bunch of questions about what the character's about, we will play the video. We do have a question in the chat. Harrenberg wants to know, is the print-on-demand place Kablam, Print Ninja, or Indie Planet?
It's Kablam, and then the store that it's on is Indie Planet. So Kablam's printing it. Yep.
Awesome. All right, so let's take a look at this video here and get a look at the world of Maverix.
When the safety of his city was threatened by the illegal importation of drugs, Maverix fought back. The Underground underestimated him before, and they weren't going to make the same mistake twice. They sent an intergalactic assassin after him and his friends. Things didn't go as planned. You make it seem like it's so easy to perfect the formula when it's not.
And apparently neither is killing him.
When an old friend returns, Maverix soon learns that there's more than what meets the eye. Humanity is on the brink of collapse, and he is the only hope to stop the decimation. Foolish boy with a brave heart, a deadly combination.
And that's what I love about comics. We go from drug lords to intergalactic assassins like that.
Yeah, this book's got everything in it. You know, it's.
I was looking at the. Go ahead.
It's got drug lords. It's got intergalactic assassins. It's got mutant armies of people of these mutated soldiers. And then it's even got a supervillain fight at the end of it. And then it's actually there's a little teaser thing at the end of the book to set up the next story. And now you're going to like a fantasy thing with these different. It's insane. It's got everything in it. So like you're not going to read it and be like, oh man, I really like Mafia, and this is just a sci-fi book. No, it's got Mafia in it. So there's something for everybody.
I'm looking at the art, and I'm reminded very much of the early work of Matt Wagner, who did the Mage series. Those close-ups on some of the characters, just the way he was very minimal in what he drew, and did the sequential storytelling. So I don't know if you're familiar with Matt's work or not, but check it out.
I will. Well, you know, I've actually been to work as I've been producing the pages. I've been trying to find new artists to look at. You know, I used to be like 3 people who I would read: Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, and then John Buscema. And actually, Jim Lee, I'm not a big fan of his storytelling, but for his anatomy and stuff, the guy's a master. But I think some of his stuff, it just doesn't do it for me because he has too much knowledge, I think, of actual anatomy that he doesn't like bend it enough. Like, but I switched Jim Lee out, Rob Liefeld. Those were my really only influences at the beginning of the year, like my main guys. But then now I'm looking at manga stuff, so I'm incorporating some of that tricks with the black and white line art, and then you know, and then I actually got into Frank Miller on this thing, which I bet you're like, no, how are you into Frank Miller? He just didn't do it for me. I see pages from Dark Knight, and it would be the first issue of Dark Knight Returns where it's all washed out and everything with the colors, you know, and I just go, oh, that kind of looks boring. But then this year I saw his Daredevil stuff, and I noticed the coolness of Frank Miller and how like he's with one line he's drawn like Batman's cape with just one line, and I'm like, oh, that's so good. So there's some of that influence in there. So I'll check out Matt Wagner.
Yeah. If you really want to look at a master, Will Eisner's The Spirit that's a master class in sequential story art, and there's a reason why they named the award after him.
Okay, I'll check that out. I've heard about Will Eisner, but I just haven't looked into him and stuff. But I'll definitely
with panels that it teaches you how to portray time and progression in panels, because you have these people talking, there'll be like a faucet in the foreground, and as they're talking, as the panels go by, you see this drip form at the tip of the faucet and then eventually fall, and you can tell right away exactly how long this conversation's been going on, how long it's been seen.
Yeah.
Because of that one simple action that's taking place.
I'm gonna. Did Frank Miller take that from Will Eisner? Do you think?
Everybody took everything from Will Eisner.
Okay. I've been trying to tackle some of that storytelling stuff in this book with time and stuff like that. So I'll definitely check him out.
Yep. So who is Maverix, and why is Maverix?
Okay, so Maverix is the coolest superhero ever. He's a guy who has this suit that is controlled by AID. AID stands for Artificial Intelligent Droid. So so Mavericks will be in the middle of a fight, right? And there will be a bunch of people in front of him, and AID will be like, "Hey, there's a guy behind you. Hit him here." So if you look at his costume and you see those energy things,
Right.
That's all of AID. Mavericks himself doesn't have any superpower. However, in the original 10 issues, what happens is there's this energy called the Mavericks. It inhabits Mavericks when he gets kidnapped because blah, 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 and he goes into a coma. And what happens is he's in a warfare in his mind because his mind has to be built up to be able to handle all these different things so it can properly control the Mavericks, right? That's how powerful this thing is. So once the character's mind is strong enough, he comes out of the coma, and then he gets put into this like time loop where everything around him gets put in pause, and he trains for like 5 years, but for everybody else it's in a second, to get his body up to the level so it can fully merge with the Mavericks. Because if he wasn't mentally strong enough, or if his body wasn't mentally strong enough, the Mavericks would absolutely destroy him. So, but then the Mavericks actually ends up getting destroyed by a villain. So Mavericks doesn't have any superpowers himself, but he's at the peak of human condition. He's as strong as a human can possibly be. Then when he puts the suit on, that just elevates it to a new level, So that's his powers. He can practically he can do everything except fly. But so there's some scenes where he's able to punch through walls. He can create energy blasts. There's this one scene where there's this huge behemoth of a monster coming after Mavericks, and he materializes a sword and he beheads it. He kills the beast. So he can materialize like almost anything and stuff. That's his main power, I guess you could say.
And you've got it built up in such a way that when you need to, and if you need to, having a legacy follow-on is not that difficult to pull off, because it is the suit that sort of makes the man. So the suit can, be worn by another person with similar training, similar capability. Yeah.
And then, you see this big green guy. That's from the I pulled him out of the 10-issue thing. I was like, hey, he supposedly died in the big battle of New York City. Not New York City, Everdale City. There was a big battle, and he sacrificed himself. But we never actually saw his death. So I was like, you know what? I can do something with him. So I took him out, and then, he actually comes. He's pretty important in Decimation. He's almost like the father figure, if you will. So if you scroll up a little bit to the previous page, this is the first page of the comic. You get the dedication. You get the there's a little a preface which basically explains the character, and you get put into this battle. And what happens is Mavericks, this green guy, basically saves him from the battle, and it turns out, he's his old long lost friend. And then the big green guy, he basically sets Mavericks off on the journey, and he's, hey, this stuff's going on in the city, and so he's trying to make Mavericks become his own man, to be able to fight by himself and stuff. Because at this point, Mavericks is only about 20. He's still a kid, and this father figure puts him out on this mission and has him face it alone for the most part. Whereas if you look at the other issues, Mavericks pretty much always had help, whereas now it's really just Mavericks against everything. And, so, yep.
All right. I like how you took the text out of the word balloons. We can see the art, but,
Yeah.
the story. It's
You know,
art for you, kid.
Yeah, I was debating about that. I was like, oh, should I keep the text in there? I was like, no, because there's kind of spoilers. I was going to take the word balloons out, but here's a little trick I learned. If you scroll down to the other page, I can actually show you an example. That bottom panel there of the green guy, you see that word balloon that's covering his hand?
Yes.
I never drew his hand. I couldn't draw it. So because I'm the writer and letterer, I go, I'll put a word balloon over it. And I forgot I did it. When I took the word balloon, I was like, I didn't draw his hand. So the word balloon stayed in there. Well, that's a trick I learned, which has saved me a bunch.
If you can draw rubble and steam, you don't have to learn how to draw feet.
I know, right? Look at Rob Liefeld. Yeah.
And he admits that. That's a big joke these days. He's learned how to draw feet since then. But
I know. I actually prefer Rob Liefeld's 90s stuff. His new stuff he's drawing chests really weird. They're kind of like boxes to me. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like they're walked out. And like the pecs, they don't actually look like they take up space to me. Whereas in the 90s, oh man, he was killing it, I think.
Yeah, one of the other jokes would be that you'd like take a Rob Liefeld drawing. Rob, we love you, by the way. You're awesome. But we'd have like a drawing of a Rob Liefeld character, and we'd start pointing out, this is the Liefeldicus abdominis, which is the seventh roll in a six pack.
Yeah.
And we know there's only so many muscles. He'd have like 3 biceps, almost like a pop cartoon, one on top of the other.
But I mean, the 90s stuff just worked. Whereas this new stuff to me, and people are like, oh, he's become such a better artist. But for me, it just doesn't get me excited. I like stuff where it gets stretched beyond belief, which is why I'm a big fan of Tom McFarlane.
And that's what that whole 90s movement was. I mean, when they struck out on their own with Image, it was a rebel movement. So it was
insane. I wish I was alive back then. Oh man, that would have been insane.
Oh man, don't tell me you weren't alive in the 90s. I keep forgetting.
15. I know. I wish I was alive in the 90s because the 90s are my favorite.
I'm 53, so
lucky. You're lucky. You got to see all the stuff.
Almost made the golden age.
Yeah. Oh man.
But I can definitely see the McFarlane influence here. I mean, the cape kind of gives it away.
Oh yeah.
But it's not blatant. It's definitely McFarlane-esque.
Yeah.
And then the stylings of the mask a lot. I like how it's a lit up visor. Is that like energy or is that just?
It's just like glowing. It's not energy necessary. It's like the visor's bright or something. I didn't give it much thought, but the thought I did give it was when I created this character back in 2018, I was watching videos on character design and like people are like, oh, Batman's such a great character because of his silhouette. So I create Mavericks' visor so it can glow. So if he's just standing there and his body is in complete shadow, you can tell who he is by that visor. And I also thought it'd be menacing if, you're going through an alley, right? You're the bad guy, and then it's complete darkness, and then the visor ignites, and then it just goes and takes you out. It's just that's why I have it. And there's actually a scene like that in the beginning of the book, around 10, 12, so somewhere around there. So
yeah, I thought maybe it was like a one-way mirror where you're looking out glass from one side in the visor, and then it's reflective on this side.
That's a cool idea.
That would be the way to cosplay this character if you helmet. That way you don't have to put lights in it. You just it just reflects the light back at them from the mirror. So we have some stretch goals on this, and the first one is unlocked. You get the Mutant Soldier trading card, which we don't have the artwork for in here, but
Yeah.
That will be,
I'll put it up soon as I draw it. I just haven't drawn it because I unlocked it. It was either yesterday. No. It was the 16th at like 10 o'clock. I unlocked it. I absolutely freaked out because I was stuck at 770 for like 1 week because Twitter kept on hiding my tweets. When I first launched it, my tweets were getting out, and I would do like 5 tweets a day, and they would get a bunch of retweets. So I got up to like 440 on my first day, which I was insane. I was ecstatic because I don't have a reputation. Nobody knows me, right? So I was like 440 on the first day. And then Twitter started hiding my tweets. Still like nobody'd see it. So I was stuck at 770 for like 1 week. And it was killing me because I was one sale away.
Yeah.
I finally unlocked it. So now I'm going to probably draw the card soon and design it. It's going to be really cool.
and you're right at the $800 mark, so it just unlocked.
Yeah.
Next one is 2,000, so
I might get there.
We're going to stretch for that, but
Oh,
you
yeah.
got 41 days left, so
Yeah.
not really a problem. It's
Yeah.
definitely doable. Get on some more stream, get some more push into this.
Yeah. I went on John Malin's stream. He had me on. And then I've been on Pete Sinetti's stream like 2 times.
Yeah.
And then I was on an other one, which somebody was just like, hey, you want to come on my stream? I was like, sure. And I did that. And I got one purchase from that. So I've been working at it. But I'm just trying to find different ways to get in front of people,
Yeah. It's a rough market, but it's a it's a rewarding one if you find success at it, because if people tell you like their stuff, they like your stuff. That first of all, that feels good. If they buy your stuff, then money's always nice.
Mm-hmm. Like that tweet I told you that I put out at the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
it got like 8,000 views on it and like 30-40 comments. People are like, this is insane. I'd buy your book. Put out a book. Put out a graphic novel. I put out a graphic novel. And then I messaged all the people. And I'm like, hey, I'm this guy. And like, I DM them. And then I commented on their comments so they could see that I'm actually the guy. And then they don't buy it. So it's like, I'm trying to find different ways to buy it, to get people to buy it. So I'm thinking I'm going to start trying to put out YouTube videos. But that's kind of tricky for me because I'm too young to have an opinion on news stuff, So I'm like, I'm not going to get in that stuff. So I'm trying to figure out stuff to do. And I'm a pretty boring guy. So I'm like, people aren't going to want to hear me talk about what I'm drawing too much, I don't think. So I'm trying to find something.
If you're going to start a YouTube channel, which I advise against right now, because it dilutes your focus, because that's just one more thing you've got to do.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm doing it. But if you do like a weekly stream of something, just draw. You don't even have to talk. People like Renee Stefani and folks, they don't really say anything. They just they got the camera focused on the paper and they draw. And if somebody asks a question, you answer it.
Yeah.
We were talking about Rob Liefeld and Heroinberg in the chat said, and don't forget the pouches. So many pouches.
I was into Rob Liefeld before. I found Rob Liefeld through the comic book greats because I was a big Stan Lee fan. Like, in my eyes, Stan Lee created the whole Marvel universe. He could do nothing wrong at that point. So I see the comic books greats with Stan Lee, and I saw like a Rob Liefeld video, and it was just so cool to me because he creates the character Die Hard, who he puts in his young blood, in like 5 minutes, and he did it with zero. I was like, look at that. He's just drawing the thing out of thin air. So I got into him, and then all my characters had pouches. I was emulating his style. I created a Deadpool ripoff called, I forget what it was called. And then eventually I just got out of Rob Liefeld. Because
he's got the pouches.
Oh, yeah.
You've definitely got pouches on the guy. So there's some Liefeld in him. So this is a McFarland Liefeld baby. Nothing wrong with there. They both done well for themselves. Gosh, I had other questions, and I'm trying to remember where they were going with them. Do you have ideas for other comics that you want to do, or are you going to just keep everything in the Mavericks universe?
I've been recently toying with the idea of doing a mini comic, which I don't know what it'd be about, but I just think it'd be kind of cool to have as soon as I finish Decimation, because I've never done a project like this before. You know, I'm up to page 60, and it's insane. It's you know, with a monthly book, I was doing it like every day. I take, you know, one day off of the week, but it's a different thing because it's different projects. So I'm thinking I might do a mini comic, right, in between this, when this ends, and my next book. But I'm pretty focused on Maverix because I just think he's the coolest. You know, when I've been working to take stuff that I like from characters and then put him in here. It's like the other day they asked me, oh, what's my favorite superhero? I was like, Mavericks. And they're like, no, outside of your own. I was like, because I don't really have a favorite one. It's just I'm so focused in Mavericks and building the world that he lives in, you know. It's like, but I might go outside of it, you know. But
yeah, that's the thing. If people, one of the reasons why there are so many independent creators right now is because they don't have a favorite in what's coming out right now. There's nothing.
I know.
To people.
I mean, if I had to pick a favorite, it'd be Spawn. But I don't even like his character that much. I just think he looks the coolest. I mean, Mavericks has a red cape and cowl. That's no accident. I was fighting with myself for 1 year, saying, should I give him a red cape and cowl? I was trying to come up with different ways I could do it by myself. I was like, nah, he has a blue cape. He has a blue cape. And then finally, I was drawing issue 10. I was like, that's it. I'm giving him a red cape. So, you know, I went with it.
It's just clothing. You can change your style anytime you want.
Yeah. And if I'm honest with you, the red works. The red looks pretty good with the blue. Whereas before he was just too blue. He didn't have any contrast. He just kind of stood there. Whereas this, he pops. You know.
And like Nightwing changes costume every 7 months. If you go back and you look at the original George Perez high collar gold trim, which I loved because I was there when it happened. And then it's like, wait a second, now it's just like a blue unitard with two red wings. Oh, now they're blue wings. Oh, now he's got his hair long. The blue wings are shaped.
Yeah.
So clothing.
Yeah, but I finally found a look that I really like a whole lot for Mavericks. The chain, which actually isn't from Spawn. It's from when I was a little kid. I used to watch this movie with Errol Flynn in it called The Adventures of Robin Hood. And there's that one scene where he's with his one friend who has a red cape, red hat, and they're riding their horses and they jump over a log. And in that scene, he has a chain going over his cloak. So I was like, I gotta have that, because I was obsessed with Robin Hood, and specifically that movie. I just thought it was the coolest.
So you're a modern kid who's going back to Golden Age comic books and Errol Flynn movies for inspiration in your books.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite movie of all time is Rocky. That's from, 1977, 78?
I don't know. I was too busy fighting off dinosaurs when it was in the theaters. It was.
I mean, doing that movie is so cool. Like, my top two favorite movies, Rocky and Braveheart. And both of those are jammed into Mavericks in some form or fashion. So.
I love that. And what I also like is that I'm not seeing anything in the artwork here that says, oh, I remember that pose from something else. So it's obviously not, I'm looking at a modern comic book. I'm trying to redraw here and teach myself all what's out there now.
If you want stuff like that in your comic, read my other 10 issues. I'm telling you, I see a pose and I go, that's a cool pose. I'm taking that. And I completely mess it up. Have you seen that comic book great video where it's like how to create a comic book? They don't really teach you how to do it. It was disappointing. But they have It's Tom McFarlane, Rob Liefeld. Then at the end, they pull in Jim Lee and Will Spertatio. Have you seen that video?
I have not.
No.
I've heard.
You haven't? Oh, you gotta watch it. It's really funny. The banner between them, Todd is just roasting Rob the whole entire time. It's great. But they draw this pose at the end of this character punching like this. It's a side view. And I took it and I literally swiped it and I made it be a splash page in like issue 3 or 4. But
I'll tell you what you do need. And whether you get them from your library or you get them from Amazon, these are things you cannot do without if you're going to get into what you're doing. You need to have this.
okay.
This is a graphic novel that teaches you how to make graphic novels.
Okay.
And I mean, it's the it's the Bible for making comics.
Really? I thought that was how to draw comics the Marvel way. Blasphemy.
That's how to do some artwork. This is how to actually, this gets into not just here's how the story is told. Here's how, to make characters. It gets into the whole abstraction of, from words to pictures and how they work together. How the galleys work, the gullies, the things in between the pictures, the gutters. And then there's the follow-up on it, which is reinventing comics, which he did after we invented it. But it also, this is my autographed copy, by the way.
Nice.
It also gets into the business of it, as far as getting books from you to reader, and all the transitions got to happen in the middle.
Yeah.
It's a really good set of reads. At least read the first one for very sure, because reinventing goes through a lot of what was already done in understanding.
Right.
Scott McCloud is.
Oh yeah, I've heard of him somewhere. That name, it sounds familiar. But yeah, I'll check out. I'll check it out.
So what advice would have you been giving your friends? I mean, do you have any of your buddies saying, hey, this is something that Noah's doing, I can do that, come on, and have they tried to copy your success?
No. There's my co-writer, Luke Iannone. So here's the story with him. I wanted to teach this was about a year ago. I wanted to teach one of my friends how to draw. And then that way then I could get them to draw a spin-off book for me. Right? So this is what's going through my mind. So I tried my one friend. He denied me. Tried the other one. No. So then at this point I wasn't really good friends with Luke, but I was like, yeah, I'll ask him. And I started teaching him. And then he started to learn, and at the beginning he was good, but then I'm like, okay, so you gotta learn the shapes. And then he'd be like, okay, I understand shapes. I understand everything's built out of that, but he never fully grasped it. So I wouldn't say he's trying to copy my success, because right now he's doing his own manga. He's into manga. I don't know why. I'm not a big fan of manga. What?
A lot of people are.
I know. I don't. It's because Marvel is. We don't talk about Marvel.
Let me ask you your opinion on this, because you are kind of sort of the target market for comic books. You're the guy that Marvel's trying to reach. Now, there's going to be an argument that says, no, they're trying to reach 40-year-olds who don't want to let go of their hobby.
That's the, what's his name? Dan Shaheen. He's a 40-year-old who will not believe that comics are dying, at least mainstream.
Yeah. So is manga successful because it's a better model, or is manga successful because Marvel and DC gave up the fight?
I wouldn't say that Marvel and DC are giving up the fight. I'd say they're committing suicide. Is manga a better model? I mean, like the way how it's being produced. Is that what you're asking, or the actual product?
Just the storytelling itself.
No, it's not better. Well, it's not better than American comic books. Is it better than current day Marvel DC? Yes. But there's nothing that they're doing that normal comics never did. I mean, people are just getting into it because there's a big boom in it for some reason, because nobody's, doing good comics, really. There's some good stuff, but it's not mainstream.
I've tried to get into it before, and every time I look at it, it's like, okay, it's girls with cat ears, or they're vampires that don't drink blood.
Yeah,
the vampire
there's one that I'm actually my friend tried to get me into it, and it was kind of cool. It's called Berserk. I think it started in the 80s. The Image guys were influenced by it. It's this guy with a giant sword who just goes on battles. I forget why it goes for battles, but it's pretty cool. So maybe check that one out if you want something.
I've seen some that was good. I mean, the form has been around for a very, very, very long time, even when I was a child. And of course, the manga's influence then come the animes. So I was up with things like Speed Racer, Battle of the Planets, or Gotcha. So I like that original stuff, but I just don't see what the appeal is of a lot of the modern manga, other than the fact that there's just so many to choose from and so many different genres, and it's all relationship stuff.
Yeah, I think it's I don't think a lot of teenage boys are necessarily buying it. I think a lot of teenage girls might be buying it, because there's like the ones like My Hero Academia, where it's about people who go to school. I mean, it's kind of like the X-Men, but it's not as cool as the X-Men. And then if there are any like teenage boys who buy it, they're lacking some testosterone in there or something, because it just doesn't. It's not cool. There's an objective line that's cool. Cars are cool. Am I a fan of cars? No. But if you show me a Mustang, okay, that's a cool car. And manga just doesn't have it. And I think like maybe 10-year-old boys buying it and stuff. And then there's like that JoJo Bizarre Adventure. I mean, have you seen that?
I have seen people review it.
Okay, you want to know what that thing is? It's not straight. It's just crazy. Why are people liking that? I don't get it. It's stupid. The name isn't cool. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. JoJo? I mean, what do they do? Take it JoJo? That's not a cool name for a character. So here's JoJo Decimation. Yeah, pretty cool, right? No. I don't get it. And
JoJo's name a chimp.
Yeah. It's so, and then it's black and white, but then a lot of them don't do. A lot of it, your eye just gets lost in the page, and it's either they over render it or they don't do enough. It's like they can't get the right mix. I haven't seen one where I can look at a page and be like, okay, that's this and that's this, and it all looks cool. It's either, what's this? Oh, I think that's this. What's that? You know what I'm saying? It's hard to decipher. And I mean, I've been on the side of drawing that because I got tired of coloring books, because I'm not a big fan of coloring. I just do it because I don't want to pay somebody to do it, because that takes some of my money away. So when I was doing the monthly, I got tired of coloring. So I'm like going to black and white, and I did it for 2 issues, and it was garbage. Either I didn't do enough stuff and I didn't do enough hatching, or I just overdid it. And it's like, oh man, come on, get it together.
If you want to study black and white, Dave Sims' Cerebus, Original Turtles.
I don't get the appeal of turtles. I've read The Last Ronin, and I read that when it came out. And I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. So I went ahead and I tried to read the original Turtles, and the concept just is, I don't get the big stink about. People are like, oh, the Turtles are so cool. I mean, The Last Ronin was so cool.
That's because they broke up on it.
Yeah.
You gotta understand, at the time, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out mid-'80s.
Right.
As a joke. I mean, Eastman and Laird pretty much did this thing out of their garage with a mimeograph machine, and it was all a parody of Daredevil and Ronin, which were both Frank Miller books. So that's why, Daredevil fought the hand, they fight the foot. Daredevil is trained by Stick, they're trained by Splinter. It's Daredevil and smaller. In fact, the whole origin of the Turtles is the Daredevil origin. It's
there's the chemicals, and then
exactly. They walk away from the kid who gets blinded, and the Turtles go down into the sewer. So they're connected at that. But it caught on so quickly and became so successful that there was this sudden flood of people saying, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. And so you ended up with like the preteen Dirty Jean Kung Fu Kangaroos, the adolescent radioactive black belt hamsters. Everyone was trying to copy this copy of a copy. And some of them caught on, some of them didn't, but it was all black and white. And they were doing it on the cheap because black and white's obviously cheaper to print than color. And the ones that were good, they were doing it right. So, you look at stuff like maybe not the first issue of Turtles, because that was, like I said, done on a lark. It was like when they suddenly had to realize, oh, crap, we got to do more of this stuff. They got better at it. And Harrelberg is right. Love and Rockets is another black and white book that you can look at that will definitely give you keys on how to take care of the story without having to do any coloring to fill it all in. Cerebus, again, is also heavily detailed in black and white. I mean, he's doing like Zipatone and dot that stuff.
I haven't kept the big deal about Zipatone. I've looked into it and I've seen it put down, and to me, it just isn't cool. If I have the option of Zipatone or a guy with the 0.1 micron going in there and doing hatching, I'll take the hatching, because to me it's handmade. It's like digital versus traditional. I was a digital guy because Tom McFarlane does digital now. So I was like, oh, I'll do digital. But to me, part of the problem was the pen on the tablet. It didn't have any texture. So when I would do my pencil and I would go to do the ink, I couldn't feel the difference. So I would essentially and mentally pencil and ink. So it would be way too sloppy because I couldn't tell an actual difference. And then stuff, meanwhile, you have actual paper, and then you have a crow quill, and then it gets stuck in the paper, and you can hear it scratching against the thing. And then, so it's like that. So if I can have hatching or Zipatone, I'll do hatching.
I mean, I don't know if you can get past that by taking like a sheet of tracing paper and putting it on your tablet. I don't know if your stylus would go through that or not, but to be able to see through it, it's worth a shot. So we were talking about DC and Marvel and manga and all that stuff. DC now, and I guess Marvel to another extent also, they're trying another path to reach your generation of readers. And no, this is not Spider-Man, Mr. Yanafui. This is Noah Mactutus. He's an artist. So
I mean, I wish I was Spider-Man. Man, that'd be sick.
But Marvel and DC are now taking their characters and putting them into the young adult novels, because you're all young adults, and that's what you read is this young adult graphic novel thing. So are you seeing all these young adult books being carried around the high school? I mean, is this, that's what's happening now?
I'm homeschooled, so I don't go to high school, but I'll tell you my thoughts on the YA. No young adult wants to read about young adults. Okay, no kid goes, I want to read a story about, no 8-year-old goes, I want to see a story with an 8-year-old being a superhero. No. Kids want to be adults. They don't want to, it's stupid. Nobody wants, and then why would I want to see somebody like me, my age, having superpowers? Because I can just imagine that. I want to see somebody else. And if they say, oh, well, we want it to be relatable. Peter Parker is relatable to me when he is in college, because he's a good character and he faces the same problems that I face. And then it's just like, oh, wow, look at that. He's 22. I'm 15. We both have the same problems. And look at that. He's 22. So he made it out being 15. Oh wow, I can too. If I'm like, I don't get the appeal of doing why.
Well, the whole relatable issue though, that's been there since the beginning of comics. That's why we have Robin and Speedy and all these other ones, because they gave the kids sidekicks to the characters so that the kid readers could put themselves into that position, but then they were still with their hero in that sense.
Yeah, and it's like, and then a lot of times they make it be too relatable, where like the guy doesn't actually overcome the problem, and that's just not cool. And then they'll make it be relatable, but they'll forget about the cool factor. I mean, it's like people go, "Oh, Spider-Man's popular because he's relatable." So you mean to tell me a 6-year-old who sees Spider-Man and goes, and let's say they watch the 2002 Spider-Man Sam Raimi film. They don't go, "Oh wow, look at that, he's so relatable." No, they go, "He can climb on walls, he can swing on webs, and he's got a cool suit. That's cool. Mom, can I get a lunchbox with Spider-Man?" About Batman. Now, people say, "Oh, Spider-Man's relatable because he doesn't have any money, he has acne, and he has girl problems." Okay, Batman. He has all the money, he doesn't have one speck on his face, and he can get any girl he wants. What's the common denominator? They're both cool. So people leave the cool factor out of it, and then it's just a waste of time. I mean, if somebody asked me if I'd rather watch a relatable movie, let's say it's some random drama, or Rocky, I'd watch Rocky because Rocky's kind of cool to me. I mean, come on, the guy's getting punched in the face, there's blood everywhere. It's cool.
Yeah,
people leave that out. Yeah.
He's getting up every time he's knocked down, so which is what the hero's supposed to do. I mean,
exactly.
You don't mind if your hero gets knocked down as long as he's fighting back.
Exactly. And as long as he doesn't have Catwoman come to save him, or should I say, Cat Mommy.
I was just about to say that. I've seen Batman get beat up for 40 years, and he always gets back up. And sometimes Robin will save him, but not always. And when he gets up, he's fine. He's not sitting around the mansion for the next 30 issues going,
"I miss my parents." It's like, that's not being a hero. And then they say, "Oh, so you don't want the hero getting beaten up?" So then they put out a comic where they'll pull what I like to call the Carol Danvers. "Oh, hello, silly villain." Oh, that slaps them. "Oh, the problem solved." I'm so weird.
Too powerful.
That. What they want to see is what we want to see. We want to see the hero have to actually try to get over it, get knocked down, get back up, and then win. That's motivational. Because then we go, "Oh wow, so if I get, okay, so let's say I go and I try and get a job, and I absolutely blow the interview. Now I don't go, I couldn't get the interview, I'm going to be homeless for the rest of my life." No, I go, "Well, Captain America got punched down and he got back up. I didn't get punched in the face. I only didn't get a job." And then you go for the next interview. It's motivational, and they just leave that out, and they put all their stupid politics into it, and it's stupid. Nobody wants to read politics. It's escapism for a reason. It's
Exactly.
just annoying.
So is this the formula that you apply to Maverix then?
Yes, exactly. Let me tell you about this, right?
All right.
He has no idea who to trust. He goes ahead, in the first page, he's getting punched up, beaten up. He's struggling to save the city because drugs are being imported from everywhere. He can't figure it out. His friend was just killed in front of him, beheaded, and then that guy almost killed him. He finds out that his old friend, who was supposedly dead, is now back. And he's telling me that there's bigger stuff going on behind the scenes. I'm not going to say what it is. Do I trust him? Is this guy the actual guy? What do I do? And then Then in the book, he actually gets betrayed by somebody, not the guy who sets him out on a mission, but by somebody else. He gets betrayed. Then he has an option to either believe these two people and team up with them, but he doesn't know if he can trust them because they've been enemies for like 2 years. They've been trying to kill him. So he has to decide that now. Meanwhile, time is at hand because these mutants, people are just being turned into these mutants, and he doesn't know to believe them if there's this actual army being created. And then he goes out there and he fights, and he gets his butt whooped. He gets absolutely destroyed. As soon as he gets destroyed in the fight, he then gets betrayed. Then he gets captured, tormented, beaten up. His ideals are challenged, right? It's the classic join me, no more pain, leave your ideas, or stay and die. So he stays and dies. Oh, I forgot to mention. Wait, no, that would be a spoiler. Then he goes ahead and he gets beaten up some more, and then just when you think he'd be at his lowest, he's been betrayed, his body's aching, his ribs are broken, he's about to be executed, killed. He gets up and he goes and he fights. So, and it's cool. There's like tons of action. There's this double page spread of a monster. It's sick. Everybody should go buy it. It's the coolest book ever. So that's my pitch for Maverix.
And we have the link for that right below the video. If you're watching this on a replay or if you're watching it right now, in fact, it's there either time. The link to Maverix Decimation, the Indiegogo, is right down there. We urge you to click on that and go check it out. If he takes my advice, there will be new tiers there with original floppies showing up.
Yeah.
But it's at $800. It has met goal. So this is going to, looks like it's going to be delivering March of 2021. Any reason why you might not make that goal? I mean, are you still producing issues or?
Well, I'm still producing. I'm working on page 61. I've got 16 more pages to draw. The only reason why I will not meet that date is if I get sent my proof copy and there's a mistake, like because I've never printed this format of a book. I'm actually going to get a print copy made, sent to me. I can review it to make sure, everything's working well in the format. And if the only reason why I would be delayed is if I get that copy, there's a mistake, and then I have to get another proof copy, that'll be the only delay. But even with March, that's an overestimate. I'm thinking it'll get shipped in February. So,
So we have been talking with Noah Mactutus, who's the brainchild behind Maverix Decimation. Welcome, Wes Knodel, for our second hour here, who has a crowdfunded book called Lilith. How you doing tonight, Wes?
Good. About yourself?
I'm doing really well. I've been learning a lot from the generation that's supposed to be the target audience for comic books, and Noah's been telling us why they're not buying them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So let me change over to our new banner, and we'll be talking about Lilith now. Noah, you're welcome to stay on and talk if you'd like. Go, obviously do that.
I think I'm going to get going. Don't want to take away any spotlight from the
you're
next.
Fine. You can stay, man.
And also, I've got a splash page I've got to draw, and I kind of messed up thinking it. So I've got to do it. I mean, it's a pretty complex book, and I want to get done tonight. And my mom's been yelling at me for staying up too late, but thanks for having me on.
Respects his mom, has a work ethic. Learn from this, guys. The creators in the industry, this is where comics should be at. Noah, thanks for coming on the stream. We appreciate you being here. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
All right. So, Wes Knodel and Lilith, and let me switch over my tabs here and we'll show that. How are you doing, man? You're doing an awesome looking comic here.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm real happy with the artist, Marcelo. He's been killing it for me.
So, I'm not sharing the thing yet, but you were also at goal.
Yes, yeah, we hit it yesterday or day before yesterday. We hit it, and now we're working on this first stretch goal.
So is this your first 30 days or your second 30 days?
This is the first 30 days of this book.
Fantastic. Plenty of time then to catch up here. Similar to the last one we just did, you had a $500 flex goal. Flex meaning that even if you didn't get 500, you were going to produce the book pretty much.
Right.
You did get it.
The book is completely done already. It's written, it's drawn, it's just waiting to be printed.
That is fantastic. I love hearing that because it means that you guys don't have to worry about whether or not he's going to get hit by a bus before the book is done. It's a deal. And you got a February 2021 shipping date here. That's right around the corner.
Oh yeah.
So tell us a little bit about me. You get a good picture of it. Tell you what, before I ask you the questions, it might be answered in the video, which you've taken the time to put together here. So let me show the video real quick, and we'll see if we have any questions after that about the character. All right.
Okay.
So not any dialogue in there to answer any questions, so we're going to have lots of questions.
Bring them on.
First of all, I have got to get my hands on that video effect for turning the pages. That's that whole open a Marvel movie kind of thing up, so you instantly get people's attention. Lilith itself, the name. We're seeing an angel. We're hearing the word Lilith. There's a lot of what is it, Judaism? Biblical reference to this character. Is it at all related, inspired by, or?
Well, I mean, Lilith is well, to give you the gist of the book, Lilith is was a guardian angel that's seeing the world fall apart, basically. So she decides one day impulsively that she has had enough. She's tired of not being able to protect anybody. So she chooses to fall to Earth to become not only a protector, but to be able to avenge the ones that are being wronged in the world.
So as a fallen angel, what attributes does she retain that allows her to do this?
As of right now, she has enhanced strength, speed, stamina. There's more that plays out throughout the series of repercussions and enhancements that she has throughout the whole story.
I would guess being a literal angel and having fallen that way, that there could be repercussions in the story further down the line from, the boss.
Oh yeah, that could be. Yeah. I mean, there's internal repercussions, and then there could be, external as well.
So I'm looking at the tiers here, and this is gosh, is there a picture of this figurine further down on the page here?
No, but I can actually grab one. Hang on one second.
Because that's looking pretty cool. And what we're looking at on this first tier, folks, this is the featured tier. You've got the digital version as well as the physical copy and a 6-inch 3D printed figure here.
Which is right here. This is a finished one. I don't know the glare. But this is a 3D.
And in color.
Yeah, it will be hand painted, each one.
Are you getting those printed by our buddy George?
No, actually, I printed them myself.
Oh, so you've got a 3D printer too?
I do.
A lot of people getting into this now. I've got to figure this thing out. So
it was a good reason that I sold the wife that I wanted one. I've always been wanting one, but I sold her on this idea, so then I got it.
I haven't even priced them. I'm still trying to price label printers, but I always knew if I had one, I would be doing that whole episode of The Big Bang Theory, just 3D printing myself with superhero attributes.
Oh yeah,
you can 3D print anything. What are you going to make? Superheroes.
exactly. That was the first thing I wanted to print with it. It's the main reason I bought it, really.
Make your own toys. So how long has the idea of Lilith been kicking around in your head here?
It actually come to me when I was working on my previous work was Undead Row. It was a graphic novel that I released last year, and I kind of started kicking around the idea of, my heroes. I've always liked them. They have a little bit of an inner dark side. That's probably why I was drawn. Iron Man was always my favorite growing up, because he wasn't always the goody guy. He had, inner demons that he had to face. And that's why I like my heroes. So I thought about, what could I do to make a hero like that? And I thought of a fallen angel that has, her inner demons that she has to battle because of a choice she makes.
Now, does she, she has a costume. She had wings at one point. She's lost the wings because of falling?
She lost the wings once she fell, yeah. And the outfit was kind of like their warrior outfit. It's like underneath their robe that, it's a mystical thing.
Gotcha. So, am I looking the art style on this picture here, which I assume is the cover? Is that a different artist than the interior?
No, it's the same. It's the same artist.
Okay, because sometimes it looks different.
And the covers, yeah. On a couple of the covers, I did notice that he tried to make it more manga.
Well, nothing wrong with that. I mean, that sells. So, copy what sells. We were just talking about manga. According to Noah, nobody's reading it.
Really?
No. According to him, he doesn't like to read it. He doesn't get it.
Oh, okay.
But it's for teenage girls. He also said if you're reading My Hero Academia, you're low T. So, how big of a book are we looking at here?
This will be a continuing series, so we'll stick. It'll be the floppies. It'll be 22 to 26 pages per book.
All right. Well, $25 US for a physical and a digital, and that printed to order figure. Well, not even printed to order. There's 25 of them because if you want to ship in February, you can't be painting 300 of these things.
Right.
That's an excellent deal. So let's scroll down and see what the actual book, just the book, is. $5 is for the digital.
And you get both books. You get book 0, which is the origin book, and you get book 1 of the series.
Are they both drawn by the same guy?
Yeah. Everything's drawn by Marcelo.
All right. I know we have viewers that actually prefer the PDF because they're working in remote areas where they can't have long white boxes and they need something to read.
Go.
I've always been like, who wants a PDF? Well, I got a lot of feedback on people who want PDF.
Yeah, I enjoy, reading a PDF. I like doing that, but it's nothing like having the book in your hand. It's always been have the book in the hand, to turn the page turn, just old school, I guess.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I've got to be holding it. Plus, I can only get so many signatures on my phone before I can't read the screen anymore. I'm one of those guys who, I'd like to take them to cons and get things signed off on. If you just want the book, the plain old, not the plain old book, just what I mean, the book, physical copy, $10. And what's shipping in that? Just so I don't.
The shipping is $6.
That's easy.
across all U.S. Just $6.
That's easy money. So $16 total shipped for the 20+ page book. This is physical copies, so this is actually 2 books for $10.
Yep, you get book 0, book 1.
So you can't get 2 comic books anywhere for $16 right now. If you got to have them shipped.
Yeah,
you can
really.
barely get that at the comic shop if you go in and buy them off the rack. So
Right.
So what do we need to know about Lilith? What motivated her to? I mean, this is a big sacrifice.
The feeling, just feeling hopelessness. The one picture in the video, you really see it. She's in a cemetery. She's crying over the people that they haven't been able to save, and it just got to a point that it boiled over that she felt she had to do something. And this, like, it was kind of impulsive thing. It was like her emotions got the best of her. She made a decision, and here we are.
Yeah, it must suck to be a guardian angel and not be able to guard.
Right. Yeah, if they're like one in the book, it's once only few of us were needed. Now a legion is not enough to protect the world.
So we're falling into this whole dystopia kind of thing. I mean, this doesn't look like it's very far future.
It's not. No, it's near
current.
future.
Yeah, very current. In fact, it's almost the world outside our window now. We got riots in the streets. We got buildings burning. Welcome to Crestville is now welcome to Crimeville. And we've got I'm not going to say the basic, but the classic sort of introduction of a hero to a reader, which is, there's a crime in an alley, somebody's been shot, and mysterious hero appears. We've seen that in everything from Tim Burton's Batman to Lilith. Now, and I don't think Mom's going to make it there, to tell you the truth, Wes. That's a lot of blood, and it's right there, center mass.
Yeah, you got her good.
But there she is in all her glory. I didn't mean to say glory. She's got white hair and bracelets, and now everybody's going to be saying, "Yeah, it's that other comic book character." No, this is Lilith. Now, look, obviously, we're jumping from several things from here to here.
Actually, the top page up there, that's in book 0, and this is a page out of book 1 down here.
I love that costume. That's very cool. It's sleek. It's stylish. It's not revealing, and at the same time, you can tell that it's a woman wearing it.
Right, exactly. I didn't want the whole, her in short shorts, and I mean she is an angel, so
yeah. I mean technically, everything that's white, everything that's white here, you could have colored flesh, and it was like whoa, sure. But it's a full body covering, which we don't get enough of. Don't get me wrong, I like my Wonder Womans, but that's a very, very cool costume. This is a costume that could be reproduced for a screen if somebody wanted to do that. And
I would love to see someone cosplay it once we get back to being able to be at cons again.
Yeah, well. That'll happen. The world will come back to, I hope.
I know I miss them. I definitely miss them.
It might be, several years of people just saying, you know what, it's a good idea if we all just stay in our houses, don't ever come out. Herwenberg says that figurine looks great. Did you mention where you got them made? Yes, he did. He's printing them himself in his own living room or wherever.
Yeah, I have a little workshop out in my garage. I'm printing them. I bring them in, and I have the wife paint them.
And there you go. He's getting them painted right there. But the question does pose an interesting idea for the hobbyist who would like to do it. Could they get the option of saying, "Hey, would you just not paint it because it's something I really do for relaxing and I like to paint my own characters"? Yeah,
I mean, if someone wanted one unpainted, I could definitely get them one unpainted, and they can paint it themselves.
And 6 inches, that's pretty tall for an action figure.
Yeah, I mean it's a nice little figurine. I mean, it's not posable. It's an actual figurine. But I didn't want it to be some tiny 1-2 inch thing.
Yeah, you want to be able to see some detail.
Right, exactly.
So how did you come up with the wireframe for that? I mean, is that Marcelo's art with a three version side, or?
What I did is I took Marcelo's art, I gave it to somebody. I hired someone to do the 3D model because that's a little beyond my realm, but I hired someone to do a model for me, and we collaborated and we got the model to look almost exactly like the book character, and then we went from there.
So then all you have to do is just, say, load it into the printer and say, make me one.
Right. Yep. Each one takes about 4.5, 5 hours to print, and then I turn it over to the wife.
That's for the 6-inch one, For the one you're going to play with your D&D games, the little 2-inch one is faster. And then
those are much faster.
And then of course the one you're going to put out on the front lawn that's full size is, that's going to take some time.
That'll take a while.
I'm just learning about this 3D printing stuff. I mean, I'm guessing you actually have a maximum size just because of how far your printer your print head can get off the plate.
Yeah, the printer I got, she's at the max. That's the max height.
So you couldn't get one of those like X-Men specials. What were they called that were like 12-inch Barbie doll sized?
Well, I could do it. I would just have to do it in segments. Look,
there you go. Yeah, you'd have to engineer that out, and I know somebody who can help you with that. So we got the $10 for both physics. I clicked it again, so here I go showing all my credit card information. Back we go. I don't know how many. I'm surprised I have any finances left, Wes. I've doxed myself so many times on screen.
Oh, jeez.
Next one down. Books. Both books plus an 11x17 art print.
Yes.
Do we know what the art print's going to look like?
I do. Yes, I do.
Well, that's great. You've got it already, but the people you're trying to sell it to, they might want to see it.
Actually, Marcelo just finished it not too long ago, so I just haven't put it on the website yet. I just haven't put it on the Indiegogo.
I'm really liking this cover, though, and I'll tell you what. I talked with a guy last night that you should reach out to because he's doing metal sublimation, ink sublimation, and this would look really cool on a metal plate.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that would look incredible.
You'd get that reflective quality off of it. But you're getting a print from Marcelo, so I'm guessing that's going to be added to the Indiegogo.
Yep. I'll show the actual. I had to put the placeholder in there while he was working on it.
Sure. And then, of course, you got the for $50, you get the books plus a creator half-page ad. So explain to me what a creator half-page ad is. What are you putting in here?
You could, if you have a book that's on Amazon or a book that's on just your website, you can get for a half-page ad. You can display that book where other people can get it. Or if you want your YouTube channel, your logo and your YouTube channel underneath it. I just wanted to do something different. I haven't seen too many people do that. So,
well, there's a reason why you haven't seen that done, Wes. And I don't know if you've considered this, but how are you shipping?
Oh, I'm shipping regular mail. I know the media mail.
Yeah, exactly. Because once it has an advertisement in it, media disqualifies it. So as long as you're shipping right, then yeah, absolutely go for it. Everybody else is like going, as cheap shipping as possible.
Right.
And I guess I actually have seen somebody had their box ripped open recently by the post office and sent back and saying, hey, you can't do this.
Oh, really?
And he had to go. Yeah, and he had to go argue with them. Says, no, I can do it. Yes, I know you can open the box because it says media and you had the right to inspect, but this is not a comic book. This is a graphic novel, and this is the distinction. So yeah, half-page ad for $50 plus you get the book that it's in, physical and digital. Perfect. You're still getting both books, by the way. This is adding on to the previous tiers.
Yeah, you actually, if you buy the physical book, you also get the PDF version of it as well. So you have the digital version that you can read, plus you get the physical copy.
That's always very cool to get. Yeah, since we're branching out into logistics here at Critical Blast, I may have to advertise. So I'll be cogitating on that tonight after our stream. Well. Why not go whole hog then? You've got the books plus a creator's full page ad.
Correct.
And this is only taking up one sheet of paper out of the book, folks. This is, you got 2 half-page ads. Obviously, that's one side, and 1 full-page ad. That's the other side. Limited to numbers. So yeah, so you're not sending out a book of ads.
Right. Yeah, I've put 2 pages aside for this, basically.
Yeah, and technically just 1 page because it's
Well, yeah.
One sheet of paper.
One sheet of paper. The printer will consider it 2 pages.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I used to edit newspapers for the college, and it was always a pain in the butt whenever somebody put a new story, somebody bring a new story and it had to be published. I'm like, yes, but we can't do a 7-page newspaper. You understand that, right? Now we've got to come up with. Technically, we couldn't do a 10-page newspaper. If you gave us that, now we've got to come up with 2 extra pages because it's got to be done in units of 4.
Exactly.
So I feel your pain on that one. So where was the idea from on this that you thought, hey, I'm gonna do a comic and it's gonna be an angel? What were all the ideas that came together and coalesced when you said light bulb?
Okay, well, the first one was, like I said, I wanted to do a different type of superhero that, of course, like I said, I like it with a little dark twist to it. I don't want her to be the perfect goody good guy. So I was like, what can I do so I can go from angel? Okay, they start out, basically pure good, and then when she falls, she'll have the inner dark battles that she'll have to face. So I just started jotting ideas like that, and then I put her in situations throughout the series. I just started writing ideas, and I basically wrote out the timeline for the first 6 books, including the book 0. And then I just started filling in the blanks from there of how to get from A to B.
I gotcha. I just noticed in this origin story here, she's got the wing. She's doing the guardian angel thing.
Mm-hmm.
But because the girl still gets shot, that's when she loses the wing. This is the moment she actually chooses to fall.
There's actually like a page or 2 in there missing.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, that is the moment. This is, the whole scenario is when she chooses right there.
That's a very dramatic kind of impact on a character. So, I came here to save you. I've pushed you out of the way of the gun. You got shot anyway. What more can I do? To do it, I've got to give up this. And
that's when on the next page you see her scream, "No more," and then that's it.
And he's flying through the air and landing in a heap. Now, is she how aggressive is she at this?
Well, she's not very aggressive. She's actually, once she made the decision to fall, she's trying to figure everything out herself. She's trying to figure out, what she's gonna do, what things does she have to offer to help her protect the world. So she's figuring everything out. We're growing up with her. We're figuring it out with her just as we go.
Okay, so she's got to take basically the Wonder Woman path that we saw Linda Carter do in like the pilot episodes there. She's arrived in man's world, literally nothing but the clothes on her back. So she got to figure out, I'm guessing we're going to have to see her set up house, get a job because she's got to eat now. Or does she not have to still do some of that stuff?
Well, she's still, yeah. But like I said, she doesn't know any of that yet. And you'll see some of that play out throughout the book of her discovering things that she now has to do that she's not used to doing.
So is there going to be any of this civilian identity that she's going to have to adopt, the typical superhero trope that we're accustomed to?
Well, right now, the main thing that she'll find is one, shelter. She'll figure out, a place for shelter. And then she's just going to go from there. And the people that are helping her with the shelter are kind of helping her along with the way things are down here on Earth.
All right, cool. So we're going to get, a cast of characters building up.
Oh, yes. There'll be, well, she's a fallen angel, so the one place that she's going to be drawn to, you've seen the church there.
Yes.
She's going to automatically be drawn to a church. It's going to feel comfortable for her. So we'll meet a few characters in the church. And then now all of a sudden, all these bad guys are getting beat up and, wrapped up and tied up or whatever. So the police are going to be involved. So there's a couple detectives that will be involved with it as well.
And that's getting to the point I was asking about the aggressiveness. Is she lethal, or is she?
No, she does not want to be lethal, because she doesn't want to become the thing that she decided to fall for. And seeing murder and all that is not what she wants to do. Right.
But, there's also the whole, is she going to have any regrets? Because, when you fall, traditionally, from everything we've read, there's no going back on this one.
Oh, there's no going back for her. So, yeah, there will be a time of inner sadness, reflection. She'll have to run through all the gauntlet of emotions. And then when the time comes, and you'll find out that she's got a repercussion she's got to deal with.
Yeah, because there's only one place you can go.
Right. Yeah, she's got a major repercussion that will come up within the first 4 books. She's come to a moment in her life that she's going to be shocked.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, and I do this with creators, so I'm sorry, because I'm going to just start thinking your story for you.
Go for it.
So whenever's necessary, just say, stop writing my book. There is, of course, in all of the Judeo-Christian mythology, there's this guy who pretty much thinks he's the boss of all the fallen angels.
Yeah.
And I would expect him to notice that the population has increased by 1 at some point, and come in and try to interact at some stage. Is that something you're looking at, or is that too metaphysical at the moment?
That is a possibility down the road, but as of right now, in the first 6 books, he's not involved with it.
Okay, because not only would he be the boss, but he would have some sort of dominion over her actions.
But I will say that Lilith is not the first to choose to do this.
Okay. So we might see somebody who's taken the same path and failed at it, possibly.
Maybe.
Somebody who's just grown more and more bitter about the choice. And
there's a possibility of that.
Kind of come to the decision, you know what? F it. They didn't deserve it in the first place. Kill them all. This story has got a lot of potential to it. And I like the look of her. What were you thinking when you went into the look? I mean, did you give that all to the artist to kind of deal with, or did you have an idea?
Well, Marcelo and I talked about it when we started working on this, and I gave him a few ideas. Main thing I gave him was the idea for the outfit, because I didn't want the big revealing thing. And then we started talking about, I was like, she's got to have the white hair. I want her athletic, but not, I don't super voluptuous or nothing like that. So we just
started J. Scott Campbell drawing.
Right. We started throwing ideas back around, and this is what we come up with.
Yeah, I really like this cover here. This is folks, hit the link on this. It's in the description below. It's the second link, because it's a 2-hour show. Scroll down, right click save on this, and then put it to your phone. This is your screensaver for the next 2 months to remind you to go back.
That artwork right there is actually the cover for book 1. That's the artwork of the cover.
And it's going to have the logo that we've got here on the screen superimposed on the top. We're going to block out that crucifix, but which I like that being there too, because it's a reminder that this is that this is a religious element filled story.
And if you look, it's actually kind of a ruin. That's just a pile of brick, and see the crucifix laying over to the side. Yeah.
So I didn't know if this was a fallen church or if this was an accident of lumber. So what kind of she gives this all up for a gunman. your run of the mill Joe Chill kind of character.
It just she reached a moment and she just, everybody does that. Everybody has that brief moment to where even if it's a small little thing, you just reach that moment and you lose it.
Yeah.
And well, that's what happened to her. Just a accumulation of everything they've been seeing and, everything they haven't been able to do. She just had her moment and this is what happened.
But the story goes that as soon as you see Petty Crook pull something off like this, and then you go train yourself to be better than Petty Crook and take out Petty Crooks, you find out there's somebody who's also better than Petty Crooks and maybe better than you working on the opposite side. And now you've got super Petty Crooks and super villains. So does she have, do you start introducing a rogue gallery?
Within the first 5 books, her main nemesis will be shown. So
she's got a main nemesis already. It's not like, just people with gimmicks.
Right. No, this will be basically a mortal arch enemy.
Very nice. Very nice. So I want to scroll back to the top here for just a brief second because I want to reload this. Because we had $660 on it. Now we're at $691. This is what we call our shake and bake moment, Wes.
All
It's
right.
shake and bake, and I help. It's shake and bake, and I help.
So
Nice.
that goes out to BAP2 in the chat who just backed the book. Thank you, BAP.
Thank you very much, Bap.
Always appreciate you being here for our guests and backing books.
Well, Bap, if you're here, if we get to 750, my stretch goal everybody will get a hat that's similar to this one right here with the Lilith logo on it.
Oh, let's show that hat here in big.
Right there.
That's nice. That's embroidered, isn't it?
That is embroidered. Yep.
That ain't cheap, folks. Because trust me, we've got Critical Blast embroidered shirts, and that was some setback.
Yeah, if we hit 750, everybody that backs the book will get a Lilith hat.
All right, so folks, if you're watching on the replay, or if you're here tonight and you want to do it, click that link, get this thing up. It's $60. $60. That's 2 more backers, really, because it just went up 30. So 60 is 2 more backers at the figurine level. So grab that figurine level backer.
And again, here's what she looks like painted.
And again, I will. Oh, and the glare is gone this time. Well, kind of.
Oh, that's back.
Like you have a sunroof, man. You must be in Pacific time because it's like pitch black here. It's okay. It follows her. She's like an angel.
There we go. I got a little bit rid of some of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's probably actually reflecting back off the monitor, Wes.
Yeah, probably. But that's the 6-inch figurine for that perk.
So is that listed down here as a stretch goal? Because I haven't even.
Not yet. Nope. It will be.
Okay.
I was trying to decide what it was, and I just did on your show.
Well, there you go. It's an exclusive. The hat is at $750. I said, yeah, $750 if we get that. The figurine is painted, Bap. He's going to he prints them there. His wife does the painting, so you'll get a hand painted figure. And there's only going to be like we said, a limited number of those things. 11.
If any of your viewers do want one that's unpainted, just have them message me through the Indiegogo, and I'll put a note.
Yeah, I think you put a note on the order. Doesn't the order have instructions to the creator or something?
Yeah, I think they do.
So let's see 13 of these things get claimed tonight, and that will put you at 750, and that means that everybody's going to get hats. And I'm guess. Okay, now wait a second. When you say everybody gets hats, this guy gets a hat. It would help if I shared the screen. Actually, this guy who's getting the PDF gets a hat, or
the physical backers.
The physical backers. So everybody who goes the $10 and higher gets a hat. That makes sense. Wes, if they get the PDF, just send them a photo of the hat.
Yeah, that's true. They're all digital.
You can get a digital hat with the PDF.
Oh, that's good.
So I don't know what else to ask, Wes. I mean, it's a very straightforward kind of concept, a straightforward story, and the tiers are very simple. They kind of build on each other. Folks, if you've got, a comic book that you're doing or a business that you have that's, obviously you want to advertise it to the crowdfunding comic book people, you've got space here. Very reasonable price. I mean, I paid, we put a full page ad on the back of one of the Alterna books, Midnight Mystery #1, for $200, and that was, color and back cover. So this is cheap to get a full page ad within the book. Definitely recommend that. If you've got a special service that you provide, this is the place to do it. Just doesn't have to be fancy. You can do something in PowerPoint that's like you kind of got screwed tonight when I decided to combine these instead of do 2 streams and not make people have to hop around, because I had this done up in PowerPoint, which was going to be your video banner thumbnail, and now we're just piggybacking on this one. It's PowerPoint. I'm very cheap and I'm very non-artistic, so I take what's available with me and I work on it from there.
And just to reiterate to your viewers that if you do back the book, as soon as this is over with, and if I have to, once I get the artwork, if anybody takes the ad out or everything, I will be sending this off to the printer. And as soon as I get it back, it'll be in your hands as well.
Yeah, the February 2021 is right around the corner. It's going to be here before you blink.
I'm going to shoot for quicker than that.
Well, you can't shoot for much quicker than that. You got 40 days left to the end of the campaign. It is February 2021.
Oh, there's only 10 days left.
10 days, but this is your first 30, right?
Yeah, this is the first 30, yeah.
Okay, so you add another 30 days onto that, and it's February 1.
Right.
If you can get out faster than that, you're doing the whole Spaceballs VHS tape thing again. It's out before the book is out before we funded. Yeah, you're right, Bat. Well, having 2 streams back to back I actually had 2 separate streams set up before I realized, what am I doing? Because I'd have to jump out of one and then jump into the other one. This just kind of made more sense, just to make it one big stream. In fact, if there's anybody out there who wants to show their book off at 9 o'clock, what the hell? I'm not going anywhere. I got nothing better to do. Let me know, and we'll throw you in at the 9 o'clock hour and give you a big old banner and stuff. But I just, what else is it that we should know about this character as far as how long of a life do you see for this series, I guess is a good question.
Well, right now, like I said, I got it planned out for the first 6 episodes, but that in itself, where it ends off is basically season 1, and I could go right into season 2. I can at least, I see 4 seasons that I can, like, right off the top of my head right now, foreseeably right.
Now, you're the second person I've talked to in 2 weeks that talks about his comic books in terms of seasons and episodes instead of issues and volumes.
I come from movies, so I'm movie and TV, so I'm kind of used to talking like that. So when I think about things, that's how I think of instead of volumes.
Yeah, you and Mitch Brightwise are both, because that's his Red Rooster books that are at the Walmart there. They actually say season 1, episode 1 on the cover, which kind of throws things around. So coming from TV and movies, is anything that we might have seen?
Well, I mean, here in Detroit, you see my work every day. I work for a local television station here. I direct the 6 p.m. and 11 p.m. news here in Detroit. Some of my movie work I've done, it's all been indie. There is a movie on Indiegogo, or not on YouTube, called The Rebound that I did in 2012. That full movie's on YouTube. Okay,
because we've been finding a niche. We're all over the place.
Oh yeah.
This YouTube stream is sort of like an add-on to the core business, which was criticalblast.com. And lately, we've been finding a lot of traction with indie horror reviews and interviews. So some of our interview nights are given over to directors and crew and cast of things like Black Pumpkin, which we had a lot of fun on talking about that movie. So if you're doing indie films, you might be back on here sometime talking about a totally different genre. But the first thing that this prompts me to ask about now is the independent film of Lilith. Indie superhero is a thing. Granted, it's mostly Roger Corman, but it's a possibility that this could. And Heroinberg is here in the chat, who could definitely talk to you about indie superhero stuff, because he has his own comic book out, which is Heroinberg, the city, but it has as its side venue live action episodes of the female stars acting out adventures. So there's
nice.
Heroinberg episodes. So there's there is a market and a platform for that to have an independent superhero movie. I'd love to see Lilith get an origin story and act it out, and
that would be fun.
I don't think once the wings are out of the way, and once you got the whole origin story set up, I don't know that there'd be much call for special effects of an exorbitant kind.
No, and if there would be, it'd be mostly cable work and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. See, you're familiar with the stuff, so you wouldn't have to go through an SFX kind of editing deal all that badly. Of course, I say that, and then I find out that green screen is used for a guy in a tractor to make him look like he's in a field when he's on a stage.
Exactly.
So everything's SFX.
With all this new LED wall thing, from the Mandalorian, making things a lot easier for being in just a sound stage.
Now you're just walking in front of a big television screen.
Right. Exactly.
So, has that even been something that you've thought about? Like I've got Netflix on speed dial.
Oh, that would be very nice. I mean, I would not be opposed to see Lilith in live action. Actually, my previous book, Undead Row, was I wrote it as a movie script first, and we converted it to a graphic novel.
Did you film it, or did you just?
No, I never did film it because of the fact indie-wise, I couldn't have got the budget to do it right. So I wanted to do something with it. So instead of, just shelving it, I turned it into a graphic novel.
Yeah. Well, Rob Thomas crowdfunded Veronica Mars, the movie. And
yeah.
By God, I think that was the first time people actually sat up and really took notice of Kickstarter and crowdfunding, because before then, my very first comic was a crowdfunded comic. My very first crowdfunded comic. Let's not
say that 10 times.
Yeah, let's not say it in the wrong order, because my very first comic was crowdfunded. No, I've got 27 boxes over here that are long white boxes that span 40 years. But before all of this crowdfunding really took off with Comicsgate and with Team Comics and Alterna, I got pitched a crowdfunded book called Titan. And darn it, it's Joe somebody, I can't remember his name. But the whole thing was he had cancer, and he was raising money to pay for his medical treatments. And his character was a superhero, like it was a Captain Marvel kind of deal. You say the magic word, you become the hero.
Right.
But when he reverts back to his civilian identity, he has cancer.
Oh.
And it's like he actually reverts to the civilian identity and passes out, because that's when he finds out that his civilian identity has got cancer.
That's an interesting twist.
Yeah, because it's not, you're not just going back to being a kid again or something. You're going back to do I want to do this? And then of course the superhero version of it's also not getting rid of it either. So it was a very interesting thing to do. But that was right before. I just say that because I remember that was right before Rob Thomas came on and said, "Hey, I'm going to crowdfund Veronica Mars," and everyone was like, "This isn't for you. This is for us, the people who can't get nothing else." And
right.
$30 bajillion later, he's like, "What'd you say again?"
For sure.
So thank you, Rob Thomas, for elevating these platforms for everybody else to see, because now everybody, the market's truly driving it. Everybody's making a comic. If you're not good at it, it doesn't get funded. If you're good at it, it gets funded. If you're not good at it and your friends fund it, you get one issue.
Right.
But if you're really good at it, you can do well. You can make a career out of this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Is that the dream, Wes? Are you trying to get out of producing the news?
I mean, I love what I do every day. I mean, it's exciting, but this is my hobby, that I get to live the dream and create my own characters. And if it becomes my full-time job, even better. But if not, I'm still just going to enjoy it as a fan, as a writer, and just keep producing for myself and for people that enjoy reading what I put out there.
That you should have fun doing it. That's the key.
For sure.
As long as it's enjoyable, what's the saying? Do what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life.
There you go.
So that, although I've got to ask now, have you ever been tempted to put a question mark at the end of what should be a sentence for your newscasters and pull off the "I'm Ron Burgundy"?
Well, actually, no, because I'm the director, so I'm just the one deciding which mics is up, which camera we're on.
Okay.
When we roll the video. So luckily, I don't have to write anything for that.
Less power than I thought you held there for a minute.
Yeah, if you see it on the air, then I've decided that's the way we're going to do it.
Okay, but if they say something that's not supposed to,
that's not me.
It's funny. I was
Yeah, no, I'm Ron Burgundy's.
None of those. But I was in the green room one time because I went on a morning show for my first novel. I went on local TV and got to take one of the author spots on the morning show. Good Morning Arkansas it was.
Okay.
And now I don't know if I want to tell the story now that I've doxed the show. But I was sitting in the production room, not on the set, because it was like 30 minutes before I went in, and the things that these people on the air are hearing in their earpieces melted mine. Because it's like they're cheery and they're happy and they're like, and next we're going to talk about a man who saves cats. And in their ear is like, are you effing kidding me? Who told you to effing say that? Turn the F around. I'm like, whoa.
It gets crazy sometimes.
So that was my eye-opening moment to the news.
It's controlled chaos is what I like to call it.
Herding cats, yes. Well, Wes, thank you so much for bringing Lilith on the stream tonight. We appreciate you being here, and we definitely appreciate all of our viewers for being in the chat. If you're watching this on replay, the description will have the link that will take you to Lilith, and you can get out there and back it. You can go for that. Go for broke. It's a $30 tier total almost. I'm guessing $5, $6 shipping, $31, $32. Get both of the physical volumes. Get this 6-inch 3D maquette. I'm not going to call it an action figure. It doesn't move. It's an in-action figure, and it's beautifully painted. You get the digital, you get the physical. To be absolutely clear, do you get the digital of both versions or just the digital? Okay.
You get the digital of both books, plus you get the physical copy of both books.
Excellent. It's going to be out in your hands sometime in February, if not sooner. We need time travel to make that happen. We're working on it. But click that link, get out there and get it. Get it to $750, because the unwritten stretch goal at this moment is everyone's going to get one of these gorgeous embroidered hats with the Lilith logo on it. So you definitely want to get one of those. And with that, Wes, I'm just going to close out the stream. And
all right. Well, thank you for having me on. It was very fun.
Glad to do it. Be glad to have you back again. You get closer to the end of the series, you just need a push or something, you want to pop on one of our open mics, you're always welcome.
All right. Sounds good.
Good night, everybody.
Take care.